Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I'm the president of Preterist Research Institute. As you can see, I'm still in my studio. I'm very deeply involved in producing some university classroom DVDs. But be that as it may, I'm sharing with you some thoughts on Daniel chapter 7 and the identity of the little horn. This is really incredible. And I want to address, by the way, an objection that has been sent to me via email and a message by one of the viewers. And thank you so much for watching, even though you disagree. I appreciate your question, and I'll see if I can address that. The question and the objection is, how could Israel be identified as the little horn? How could Israel be identified as the man of sin in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2? Because Paul says that the man of sin was present and being restrained, but would be revealed and then destroyed at the coming of the Lord. It is said that that doesn't fit Israel. Well, I would suggest that it really actually does. And let me see if I can give a scenario. All right? It must be remembered that historically, the Romans had deprived Israel of the right of capital punishment at the very, very beginning of the first century. The only exception to that rule, legally speaking, was if a Gentile violated the temple precincts. So there's no question that Rome restrained Israel in her pursuit of her enemies as she perceived those enemies to be. Now, does that mean that she did not find ways to persecute the church? Well, that's pretty clearly not the case, because beginning even in the book of Acts chapter 8, a great persecution arose against the church. But they did so illegally. They were not allowed, nor were they encouraged in any way, to persecute the Christians. This was strictly a violation of Roman law for them to kill them. Doesn't mean they couldn't do all sorts of other things with them. Secondly, notice the fact that in Acts chapter 18, the Jews actually brought Christians before the Roman authorities, seeking the Romans to persecute the Christians and seeking permission for themselves, the Jews, to persecute the Christians even more. And the Roman authorities kicked them out, had them booted out of court, so to speak. The Romans were clearly not involved in any persecution, and they were forbidding the Jews to persecute the Christians as much as the Jews wanted to do. But watch what happens. In 64 AD, Nero, accused of burning Rome, was encouraged by whom to persecute the Christians? Now, everyone knows, all historians know, that Nero was the very first Roman emperor to persecute the Christians. But why did he do so? Well, Adolf Harnack, all sorts of historians have pointed out that it was Nero's inner circle. It was his wife, it was his freedman, it was his inner circle of counselors and advisors, all of whom were Jews. And by the way, it is also believed that there was an embassage of Jewish high priests in Rome at the time who also sought to get Nero to not only to persecute the Christians, but to kill Paul as well. So even the Roman persecution of the Christians in 64 was instigated by the Jews. Now what happened? When Nero put his stamp of approval on persecution of the Christians, it gave the Jews free rein. The man of sin, the restrainer, if you please, was taken out of the way. And the Jews had free rein to persecute the Christians. But of course, that persecuting power centralized and located in Jerusalem in the high priesthood, the Sanhedrin, was destroyed at the coming of the Lord in AD 70. I hope that helps just a little bit. Thanks again for watching the YouTubes. Even when you disagree, feel free to post your objections, your questions. I'll be addressing some other questions in upcoming sessions. Thanks again for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. We'll see you on the flip side.